everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video, I'll be taking you to Columbia, California. Actually, it is a census-designated place as Columbia State Historical Park. Thanks for the park's preservation, it had never become a ghost town like some other gold rush towns. It is one of the best preserved and most famous example of gold rush cities. The park is located 135 miles east of San Francisco. It is a good place for a day trip, but don't get me wrong. Although this is a small park, beyond my expectation, the history associated with this place is quite rich. The park was kept in its 1850 conditions, and there's no modern intrusion, no overhead wires, asphalt, and neon signs. Let's see what interesting things await us. There is a drugstore, many bottles of drugs available. Next door is the dentist's office. Some of these instruments look scary. There are a lot of things we don't normally see in modern dentist's office, and they are so big. They look like something a carpenter would use rather than a dentist. Dentures. Dies for making crowns. An iron shop and souvenirs made from metal. Horse buying, selling, and trading. No more horses, but carriers still here. Let's check out the museum. Native American artifacts unearthed in this area. Gold was found here on March 27, 1850. The area was so rich in gold that it earned the nickname Gem of the Thousand Mines. Unlike many towns, the gold in Columbia was found close to the surface, making it especially attractive to miners. Within 6 months from when the first gold was found, thousands of the miners flocked in. The site quickly grew into one of the richest and the most densely populated gold rush towns in California. Here are some people camped here during the gold rush. Not all of them minor, although they did mine while doing their profession. These are doctor, father, firefighter, barkeeper, barbershop owner, photographer, etc. Some of them say interesting things. Mrs. William Degener, wife of the first Wells Fargo agent in Columbia, said, "Poverty is unknown. Anyone who works earns lots of money. Little boys only 6 to 8 years old go with their parents and wash gold and earn $5 a day." Yep, $5 are a lot of money back then. And this one, Charles Koch, a barbershop owner, had a shampoo recipe contained 3 quarts of rum. Don't know how getting your hair drunk could help you. And then, guess who else came? Yes, that's right, the hardworking Chinese were here too. Most of the Chinese who came to California were from southern province of Guangdong and worked for one of the 6 companies in San Francisco Chinatown, which paid for their passage to California. Apparently, the Chinese were not treated well. They worked as placer miners and were relegated to inferior mining areas, often abandoned by American or European miners. They are not allowed to own claims, but they did own and operate many businesses, such as mercantile houses, a judge house, a barber shop, a theater, and gambling house. This was account books from a provision store called Sansa Wood Company. This was a letter from a son to his father. The son reported to the father that his little sister ran away from home and was nowhere to be found. A set of mahjong and an abacus. I would imagine mahjong brought some fun in the difficult life away from home. A complex form of hydraulic mining utilized overshoot water wheels allowed miners to transport dirt, rock, and gold from far away and dump them into the dump boxes and then wash down the dirt and leaving behind the gold. These are different forms of the gold mined here. This is a gold pan. 1902, a 132-ounce gold nugget was found east of Columbia in the Knickerbocker Yankee Hill area. This is the plaster cast of the nugget. This was Wells Fargo's scale for weighing gold. It is so precise it can weigh a signature in pencil on a piece of paper. The sturdy boxes were used to transport valuable items such as gold dust, bars, legal papers, checks, and drafts by stage to other parts of the country. Strong boxes could weigh over 150 pounds and were hidden under the armed stage driver's seat for extra protection. The express bags were used by Wells Fargo to carry small items. From 1870 to 1884 in California, during the largest period of stage travel, 374 Wells Fargo stagecoaches were robbed, and 226 of the robbers were arrested and brought to justice. Due to an increase of families in Columbia in the late 1850s, there was a dire need for public school building. Prior to this time, schools were held in private homes. Construction on the school commenced in 1859 and was completed in late 1860. The first class session began in March 1861. It was the oldest two-story brick schoolhouse in California. The school closed in 1937 because it was deemed unsafe based on the new earthquake standards. It was then restored in the 1950s with money from California students and teachers. $57,000 worth of dimes, nickels, and pennies were collected in the classroom throughout the state to fund the project. This displays the miners' possession. Miners in the early years of the gold rush came from every class, profession, and country that heard of the discovery. While miners were looking for their first big find, they camped out, the only shelter being a tree, homemade tent, or brush lean-to or ramada. As towns grew, many organized constructed more substantial log cabins or built wooden platforms which covered with canvas roofs. By the mid-1850s, most of the miners still lived in the log cabins on their claims and did their own cooking and cleaning. Their drinking and celebrating was done during the periodic trips to towns or supply centers. These look like something one would find in bars, salons, and gambling houses where people had fun and released stress. Not sure what these were. I'm guessing perhaps lottery tickets. In the early days of the nation's history, a heterogeneous collection of coins was used to trade with settlers from various old world countries. Predominant was the Spanish meal dollar of 8 reals, commonly known as pieces of 8. The early exchange rate between money was based on Spanish dollars. These coins, struck by mill and screw press, were large. At times of insufficient coins in circulation, they were cut into halves and quarters to make changes. Between the years 1830 to 1861, some private individuals, assayers, and firms issued gold coins or ingots, which were accepted as the exchange medium, though not coined by United States government authority. Private coinage of any type was abolished by law in June 1864. The design of coins is the responsibility of the Director of the Mint with the approval of the Secretary of the Treasury. It has been estimated that between 1849 and 1855, there were 15 private mints in California. The last issue of coins was by Molitor and Company and Kellogg and Company. Some were dated as late as 1855. With the U.S. Mint established at San Francisco in 1854, very few private coins were struck after the establishment. These were checks back then. Checks are almost becoming extinct nowadays. My future grandchildren probably won't know what checks are. This was some women's belongings. Little of women's day-to-day life has been discovered, but it must have been very difficult, even painful, because they have left their relatives and friends. Most of them would never be seen again. American women in California, however, had more freedoms and opportunities than their sisters in the East. In 1852, Nevada City councilmen passed a law that married women could own businesses apart from their husbands, and other counties soon followed. This sole trader law allowing women to buy, sell, and own property and obtain divorces. In Colombia, women were instrumental in establishing the first private and public schools, the musical societies, the churches, the literary society, and many of the more civilized amenities of the community. It was the women of Colombia who raised the money to purchase a fire pumper to prevent the spread of the scourge of the mining towns. The women also raised money to buy furnishings for the new schoolhouse and held many clerical parties to raise funds for the families of the injured or dead miners. The kids of the Columbia. Some marbles they played with. I guess the love for marbles is universal among kids. Arithmetics book and vocabulary book. Inkwells. Pinkstead. Here's another part of a Columbia Museum featuring Native Sons of the Golden West, NSGW. NSGW is the California-born fraternal organization founded in 1875 in San Francisco with the mission of preserving California's history and promoting the ideas of its pioneers. Membership was originally restricted to men born in California, hence Native Sons. The inspiration was the fear of the pioneer history and the values would be forgotten because of the rapid changes after the gold rush and the influx of immigrants. One of the important historical impacts that linked to Columbia was to help preserve parts of Columbia, California, lobbying for its designation as a state historical park in 1945. This is the courthouse. Wells Fargo Company, Express and Banking. Here you can have some fun painting for gold. Park personnel in costume. The gold mining activities were so extensive, the search moved closer into the community as gold grew scarce. The townspeople's lives were upset and many buildings torn down to get to the shiny metal underneath the ground. The consequence was long after the mining in this area stopped, the devastation remained. It would be many years before anything substantial grows again in these boulder-strewn fields that border the town. There's a Freemasonry chapter here. It's Columbia Lodge 28. It played a critical role in civil stability during the gold rush era. During the height of the gold rush in 1852, Columbia's rapid population growth, influx of miners, and lack of established civic institutions create both opportunity and disorder. Local master masons, many already leaders in business and community affairs, recognized the need for a stabilizing, values-driven presence. Following the standard Masonic petition process, a chapter as Columbia Lodge No. 28 was founded in 1854. The lodge quickly became a hub for moral guidance, mutual aid, and civic coordination, offering charitable support to people in need, organizing community events, and providing a structured code of conduct when official law enforcement was sparse. All in all, located on a large gold deposit, combining initial placer gold and secondary hydraulic and hard rock mining, Columbia, the gem of 1,000 mines, produce what would be $29 billion today. These riches create one of the largest mining towns in California with a population of 15,000 residents in 1853. Unlike most of the mining settlements that collapsed when gold ran out, Columbia survived through a combination of the secondary gold strike, strong civic institutions, including influential groups like Freemasons, and later historical preservation efforts. Today, it serves as both a state historical park and a working town, offering a tangible link to Gold Rush era where visitors can experience the look, feel, and rhythms of 19th century California life. Finally, I leave you with this. The Gold Rush shows that humanity's search for opportunity can drive remarkable progress, but without balance and responsibility, it could also leave deep scars on people, society, and the land. That's all for today. If you like this episode, please like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you next time. Bye!